Have you ever inherited something only to realize it had been waiting to inherit you instead? My name is Daniel. I'm 46 years old, and until 3 weeks ago I believed every strange story my grandmother told me was nothing more than folklore meant to frighten children. I couldn't have been more wrong. The letter arrived on a rainy Tuesday morning. It informed me that my last living relative had passed away, leaving me the Ashcroft Mansion, a place I hadn't seen since I was 10 years old. I almost laughed. The house had been abandoned for decades. No one in my family ever spoke about it. Whenever I asked, the room would suddenly become quiet. My father would change the subject. My grandmother would simply whisper, "Some doors stay closed for a reason." I thought they were protecting old family pride. Instead, they were protecting me. The mansion stood alone on a hill, surrounded by twisted trees that looked almost human beneath the storm clouds. As I approached the rusted gate, I noticed something strange. There were no birds, no insects, no sound except the wind. It was as though nature itself refused to cross the property line. The front door opened with almost no effort. I don't remember unlocking it. I only remember the silence waiting on the other side. Dust covered everything. The chandelier hung like a giant spider above the entrance hall. Portraits of long-dead relatives stared down at me with expressions that felt less welcoming than judgmental. Their eyes followed me. At first I blamed exhaustion, until I stopped walking. Their eyes stopped too. That night I slept in what used to be my grandfather's bedroom. Sleep, however, barely lasted an hour. Around midnight I heard footsteps above me, slow, heavy. One step, then another. The attic. I grabbed an old lantern and climbed the narrow staircase. Every wooden step groaned beneath my weight, as though warning me to turn back. The attic door stood slightly open. I was certain I had never touched it. The air inside felt impossibly cold. Moonlight poured through a cracked circular window, revealing old furniture hidden beneath white sheets. Then I noticed the rocking chair. It was moving, slowly, back and forth. No wind, no explanation, just movement. I stepped closer. The chair stopped. On its seat rested a small leather journal. Thick dust covered everything around it, except the journal. Someone, or something, had touched it recently. Inside, every page described my family. Births, deaths, marriages, names I'd never heard before. But the final pages became different. They weren't records anymore, they were warnings. The bloodline must never leave. The keeper must always remain. If the final heir returns, the house will awaken. I laughed nervously. Then I reached the last page. Written in fresh black ink was today's date. Beneath it, only one sentence. "Welcome home, Daniel." Every candle in the attic went out at once. I heard breathing behind me, slow, calm, close enough to touch my neck. I turned instantly. No one, only darkness. As I hurried downstairs, another discovery stopped me cold. One portrait near the staircase had changed. Earlier that evening it had shown only my great-grandparents. Now, I was standing beside them, wearing clothes from another century, smiling. Even though I had never posed for such a painting, I backed away in disbelief. That's when I heard a woman's voice echo through the empty halls, soft enough to sound almost kind. "He's finally come back." I wanted to leave immediately, but the front door refused to open. Something inside that mansion had already decided. I wasn't leaving. I don't know how they found me, but every night since then, just after midnight, I hear footsteps above my ceiling. At first I blamed the old building. Wood expands. Pipes make strange noises. People come home late. There had to be a logical explanation. Then one evening I remembered something that made my blood freeze. I lived on the top floor. There was no one above me. The footsteps continued every night. Slow, deliberate, always the same pattern. 3 heavy steps. A pause. Then 3 more. They always stopped directly above my bedroom. After 2 weeks, curiosity finally defeated fear. I borrowed the master key from my landlord, climbed the narrow maintenance ladder, and pushed open the hatch leading into the attic. Dust floated through the beam of my flashlight. Broken furniture lay untouched beneath thick cobwebs. Everything looked exactly as an abandoned attic should. Then I saw it. In the far corner stood an old wooden rocking chair, exactly like the one in Ashcroft Mansion. It rocked gently back and forth. There wasn't a single open window. The air was perfectly still. My flashlight began flickering. When the light steadied again, something was resting on the seat. The brass key. The same key I had locked inside my apartment safe that morning. I knew I hadn't brought it with me. I picked it up with trembling fingers. The metal felt warm. Far too warm. Carved into the wood beneath the chair were 4 fresh words. "The house remembers you." A loud bang echoed through the attic. The hatch slammed shut behind me. My flashlight died. Darkness swallowed everything. Then I heard breathing. Not one person, dozens. Surrounding me, slow, patient, waiting. The flashlight flickered back to life for just a second, long enough to reveal footprints forming in the dust. No feet, only fresh impressions, one after another. They were walking toward me. I stumbled backward. The light died again. When it returned, the footprints had stopped less than a meter away. There was still no one there, only silence. Then every beam above my head groaned together. The sound slowly transformed into whispers, hundreds of voices speaking at once. Not shouting, not threatening, simply repeating one word. Keeper. Again. Keeper. Again. Keeper. The key in my hand suddenly became burning hot. Instinctively I closed my fist around it. Every whisper stopped. The attic fell completely silent. The rocking chair no longer moved. The footprints slowly disappeared, as though erased by invisible hands. I ran downstairs without looking back. The next morning I drove back to Ashcroft Mansion. I told myself I was ending this once and for all. The house looked exactly as I had left it. The front door stood open, waiting. Inside, nothing had changed. The portraits were still. The library was silent. Only the attic door stood open. I climbed the stairs one last time. The rocking chair waited beneath the round window. Behind it, a small black door had appeared in the wall. It hadn't been there before. The brass key fit perfectly. The lock clicked. The door slowly opened. Beyond it wasn't another room. There wasn't even a wall. Only endless darkness. Then thousands of tiny white eyes opened inside it, watching me. A voice echoed from somewhere beyond the darkness. It wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. "You may leave, but I will follow." The door slammed shut on its own. Every window in the mansion shattered at once. The walls shook. Portraits crashed to the floor. The entire house groaned like a living creature. I ran. I never stopped running until I reached my car. I never looked back. That was almost a year ago. People believe I escaped Ashcroft Mansion. They're wrong. Because every night, exactly at midnight, someone knocks on my bedroom door. 3 slow knocks. Always 3. When I look through the peephole, no one is there. But every morning, There are muddy footprints leading to my door, never away from it. Yesterday I opened the safe where I'd hidden the journal. The last page was no longer blank. There was only one sentence. The next house has already chosen its keeper. I don't know whether it's talking about me or about whoever is listening to my story now.